Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we will be talking about what it looks like to have your natal moon in the sign of Capricorn. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. So similar to our previous videos here in this Vedic moon sign series, we are not going to go heavy into the nakshatras that are falling within the sign of Capricorn, but we will briefly touch them. Now, before we even get into what the moon in Capricorn is all about, we have to understand what is the moon representing in Vedic astrology. The moon is the ruler of the sign of Cancer, which is our original fourth house of the natural horoscope. And so that fourth house is all about comfort, luxury, home, mother, nourishment. And so the moon is connected to where we are getting our emotional nourishment and fulfillment from. The moon is also connected to our state of mind. It is the way that we think and feel, along with our reactions and responses to our environment. The moon is also connected to our intuition, our imagination. It is the depths of the mind. And so the moon is changing and fluctuating as our minds are constantly in flux. And so the moon is also representing those sudden changes happening within our lives. The moon, because of this, is mapping out our behavioral patterns as we are making changes in our behaviors based upon our mood and our state of mind. Along with the moon being a source of emotional nourishment, the moon is also about our physical security, as the moon is connected to our source of comfort. And so the moon is also attached to material and financial security as well. Now that we have covered what the moon is representing here in Vedic astrology, we have to understand what the sign of Capricorn is all about. Now, Capricorn is our natural 10th house of the zodiac. And so Capricorn is actually opposing this energy of the moon, as the moon is all about our comfort, our nourishment, our security. Capricorn is all about leaving that security, leaving the home and going out into the world, into the workspace. And so Capricorn is connected to our responsibility, our duty, our reputation, our job. It is how we show up in the public world. Capricorn is all about hard work, discipline, patience, determination. Capricorn is a sign that is very much career-oriented and that is very concerned about the status and the public appearance. Capricorn is a God-fearing sign that is very cautious, very hesitant. It is also very much fearful and respectful of authority as well, as this is all about rising up the ranks, working hard towards a goal, how we're showing up in our public presentation. And so Capricorn is all about this structure, this work, this discipline, this commitment to the task at hand. And along with this, because Capricorn is very hardworking and disciplined, it is detached from the feeling. Capricorn is very practical. It is focused on getting the task done, getting from point A to point B. And so Capricorn does not allow distractions and feelings to get in the way of getting done what needs to be done within our lives. And so here we can see an opposing factor that's happening between the moon and Capricorn, where there is a little bit of this detachment and feeling that is happening through this position. Here we can also see that the moon is in a very neutral position, and we have to understand that the moon has a certain relationship with each of the planets. The moon does not see any of the planets as enemies. The moon is great friends with the sun and Mercury, and the moon is neutral to all other planets. So Capricorn is being controlled by Saturn. And so we see that there's a neutral relationship between the moon and Saturn that is happening here with the moon in Capricorn. Something else that we can see here through this position in understanding the sign of Capricorn is that in Vedic astrology, Capricorn is seen quite differently than it is in tropical astrology. So there in tropical astrology, we associate Capricorn with a goat. Here in Vedic astrology, Capricorn is associated with a sea monster that is resembling a crocodile. It is all about patiently waiting to gobble up that moment of success. And so these are people who are extremely ambitious and determined, but also quite patient and calculative as well. There is always a plan, a strategy of how to get to the top. And when that correct moment to strike comes in, we see that those with this position are able to take charge and to get things done at the correct timing. This is a huge factor that plays into the success of those who have their moon in Capricorn, is this ability to think in a very practical and hesitant way that allows to strike at the correct moment rather than acting impulsively. So we see the rationality, the practicality, we see the common sense that is here behind this position. On that other end, once again, there's this detachment from feeling, which becomes a difficult part of this placement. The trade-off of being so practical, of being so strategic and good at taking those moments on at the correct time is a difficulty when it comes to feeling and expressing one's emotions. And so there's a little bit of a dry nature, a harsh nature that is here within this sign, where there is difficulty in connecting and feeling with the moon here in the sign of Capricorn. Now we also have to look at what is happening with the moon within one's chart. This is strongly going to affect the way that this plays out. Once again, this is a neutral position for the moon, and the moon on its own is already a neutral planet where it can be easily influenced and persuaded. So we have to understand, what house is this moon in? How is it being aspected? Are there any planets that are with the moon? This is strongly going to affect how this plays out. We also want to understand what is going on with Saturn. Once again, the moon is in a position where it can be easily influenced through this position of Capricorn. Now, along with that, we have to understand the Nakshatra. What Nakshatra is this falling under? And each zodiac sign is consisting of 3 Nakshatras. And so we have to see what Nakshatra is the moon going to fall under. The 3 Nakshatras that are falling within the sign of Capricorn are Uttara, Ashadha, Shravana, and Dhanishta. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the differences between these 3 Nakshatras. For those who have their moon falling in Uttara Ashadha, we talked a little about this in the previous video because this actually started within the sign of Sagittarius. And we talked about how this is known as the late victory. And so here in Uttara Ashadha, this is all about hard work, discipline to get towards that victory, that triumph in life. And there is great victory that is promised here through patience and dedication. These are people who are quite reserved and are focused on social justice. Helping humanity, focusing on worldly issues is huge here within this first Nakshatra. Now, those of you who are born with the moon in Shravana, this is giving a great ability to listen and learn. This Nakshatra here is represented by a listening ear, and this is a Nakshatra that is all about this ability to be receptive, to listen, to understand. Here we get a much more softer nature of this Capricorn sign, as this Nakshatra is controlled by the moon. And so here, those of you who have this position of the moon in Shravana are great listeners, great counselors, great at understanding and really learning and picking up from your environment. Great ability to learn from listening to others. This also gives a great ability to inspire and to lift others up. Those of you with this position have a great skill in seeing the greatness in others and being able to point it out and to put others in the right direction to pursue the correct path for their success. Those of you who have your moon falling in Dhanishta, this is a nakshatra that is actually spilling over into the sign of Aquarius. And so we have this great contrast that is happening between Capricorn and Aquarius here within this nakshatra. This is known as the star of symphony. And so those of you who are falling under this nakshatra especially have this incredible patience and discipline to wait for the correct moment to take on opportunities. This is where we see this great ability to rise up to those positions of high ranking and success by patiently waiting for the correct moment to strike. This also gives a great harmonious nature. Those of you falling within this nakshatra are all about world peace and harmony. So this has been my interpretation of what it looks like to have your moon within the sign of Capricorn, along with a brief description of those 3 nakshatras falling within the sign of Capricorn. And once again, we will talk more about those nakshatras in a future video. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button along with the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new content. I do have a course that is available now within the channel memberships. I will leave the link for that down below in the description along with the comments. If you have any additional questions, anything that you'd like to ask me, anything that you'd like me to cover as far as Vedic astrology goes in a future video, go ahead and leave it down below and I will get back to you. I want to thank you all so much for joining. I hope you all have a great day and I will see you in the next video.